When people have been hurt a lot in their life, either in their childhood or upbringing, what happens when they finally find love is they're overexcited. So when
Look
I
at me.
Yeah, and so when I see people who are overposting, it makes me wonder, what pain did you go to get here? You're super excited about being in love, which is great. I mean, as you should be. But this level of kind of showing suggests that there was a lot of pain going into it. Now, people with problematic past tend to have problematic futures. So the people that post the most, you'll see that they end up breaking up. But it's not because they posted. It's usually because it took them a lot of trauma to find love. They were really excited when they got love. They wanted to post every second of it, but they didn't work on the
relationship,
the trauma in the relationship, and so the cycle repeats and they find themselves in that pain again. So the reason I say it's a red flag is not because there's anything wrong with being in love and being excited, but a level of it's a bit like when somebody starts posting their Lamborghinis and nice cars. Chances are they didn't grow up with money. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with it. But when you grew up with money, you just knew that was your dad's car. Like there's nothing to. So when it's nothing exciting, you don't really post as much. Same thing happens with relationships. When you've had a stable childhood, when you've had stable levels of love throughout your life, as excited as you are, you're not posting all day every day. So those stable people tend to last a bit longer. The ones that want to let everybody know everything, it's probably some level of trauma and they're overexcited, and so I can understand it, but I don't think it's healthy.
And what are some red flags we should be looking out for when we look at someone's social media, for example?
I would say if he's got like 200 followers but is following like 5,000 women, it's so cringe.
It's so cringe.
It's so cringe. And the reason I say, even with girls, I would say even there's girls out there that will be following 90,000 like influencers. And I would say both for men and women, when they're following that much, just imagine what their feed must look like. If they're following influencers and influencers and influencers, they're basically saying influence me. Influence me, not teach me. If they're following pages where they're learning something, it's different. But what their social media following shows what they want to consume. If it's fashion, if it's body, if it's vacuous, they want to consume something more shallow. Whereas if it's something business related, work related, workout related, etc., then you know that they want to consume the right information. So I think it does tell us a lot. It tells us where their mind is and what they want to consume. So pay attention to it.
Can women have it all? A career, a family, a successful relationship, or maybe a business? Can we have it all? Or, as you mentioned earlier, do we need to be a bit more feminine and balanced?
I would say everything in life that you want has a sacrifice associated. So if you want a great body, you have to sacrifice food, certain types of food. If you want a great career, sometimes it sacrifices time with your friends and family. So having everything is a little bit harder because it takes some sacrifice. So having a really great career might mean sacrificing time with your kids. Having, being a stay-at-home mom might mean sacrificing your potential. You could be a really great, you could have a really great business and you're stuck at home with the kids. Not that it's bad, but it involves a sacrifice. So having a relationship also means a sacrifice because you have to think about both people's needs. I would say to measure what you want in life, think about the sacrifice it takes. And if you're willing to sacrifice it, do it. If you want to be a millionaire, that means sacrificing time and energy with your friends and family. Are you willing to sacrifice it? Yeah, perfect. If you want a career, but it means sacrificing time with your kids, as long as the sacrifice is something you can handle and you can deal with, you will feel like you've had it all. But if you get it all on paper, but you didn't realize what the sacrifices were, you're going to get to the top and feel very empty. So bear in mind the sacrifices when you're looking for what you want in life.
And if there's a woman listening now and she's looking for a relationship, what are some of the qualities she should be looking for in a man?
I think it really just depends on her. I think the reality is, have a look at things that make you deeply insecure and difficult to be with. And if you are aware of those things, then you need a partner that will soothe your anxieties rather than ignite them. Now, if you know you're naturally quite clingy and you know you need a lot of time and affection with your partner, don't choose a super busy, high-flying man because it will bring out the worst in you and the relationship won't last. But if you are very autonomous and very independent and very secure, then by all means choose a man who has similar qualities. But really bear in mind what part of you makes relationships hard, and then try and find a man that will navigate those experiences rather than ignite them, rather than make it so much worse for you. And that is actually the key, unfortunately. It's about looking internally and finding the balance.
And what's your advice on how a woman should avoid being clingy, if there's even a way
Well, here's the thing. Being clingy is very normal. I'm clingy as hell. Are you clingy?
I can be.
I'm
yes.
crazy clingy. I could live in your skin. It's no bother to me. Like, it's no bother to me at all. It's super clingy. But the reality is, here's how to navigate clingy people. When you have a clingy partner, if you just tell your partner, oh, I'm quite clingy, if he gives clingy people, the antidote is consistency. If you have a clingy partner, but they hear from you maybe morning, lunch and night, what happens then is when you give them reassurance and you give them stability, they start to let go. They let go. They let you go. So if you hear from your partner in the morning, you're like, okay, bye, have a great day. You don't need to check in on them again for a while. But what happens to clingy people is when they go prolonged periods of time without hearing from their partner, then they get intense, then they get clingy. So clinginess is not a state, it's a reaction caused by absence. So if your partner taps in every now and then and just checks in, you'll be so surprised how much the clinginess will just go. People think if I keep tapping in, she's going to get worse, but actually she calms down. But as long as she can rely on you to check in on her on a daily basis, she will become less clingy. So that's the cure, really. You need a partner who understands that, stabilizes it, and then you'll become more independent.
And, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. She's talking to this guy, and he said to her, I'm not looking for a relationship. And she was considering whether she should still go on the date or not. Can you change a man's mind, or is he just saying that to protect himself?
I'm sure I don't want to say no, you can never, because, people change. It's not I don't want to say one size fits all. But the reality is, if he's told you that, you have to accept it rather than try and change it.
Okay.
We need to practice dating with acceptance rather than challenge. Don't see it as, oh, but maybe I can change. He's thinking maybe I can change her. Maybe she won't want a relationship.
Right.
So just like you meet a man and you say, I want a relationship, he says, I'm not ready for a relationship, and you're thinking, maybe I can change him. He's thinking, maybe I can change her. Maybe she'll never want a relationship. Maybe she'll be open to me being polyamorous. So just like how you don't think you'll change your mindset, he doesn't think he will. And everybody deserves acceptance. So if he doesn't want a relationship, accept that about him. Don't judge him for it. Yeah. But like I said, it's like having an allergy in a restaurant. Once you've said your allergies, if everything contains nuts, you can't get mad at them for that. You let them know, but then you move on. And if they say, I can make something that doesn't have nuts for you, but you can stay. Similarly, if the person says they can meet your needs, stay. But if the person doesn't say that, then accept.